Welcome to the e-commerce Queen Boss podcast by Sohere On Air, where you get every week clarity with your marketing strategy and alignment to build a thriving online business. Your host, Sohere, is an expert in experience marketing and consumer psychology. She worked with clients ranging from startups to multi-million-dollar online businesses. The e-commerce Queen Boss podcast is for the woman on a mission to build her own empire. And it's starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the e-commerce Queen Boss, where you learn to build your own e-commerce empire with ease, flow, and grace. Today I have the pleasure to interview the amazing vocal therapy coach and director of My Vocal Therapy, Charlene Linton. She helps recording artists to be psychologically empowered and their most confident and powerful selves, and giving them technique to sing amazingly well with way less effort. She has coached artists like Rita Ora and has sung with superstars such as Adele, Smokey Robinson, and Jennifer Hudson. And she has designed and delivered courses and masterclasses to the Academy of Contemporary Music, Point Blank, and Access to Music, as well as other schools across the UK. Hello, Charlene. How are you?
Hello, I am amazing. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I'm so pleased that we have this opportunity to speak with each other. And just to give a transparent overview of what happened, we already had recorded this interview together, but technology came in the way. And so, I really wanted to have this interview again with you because the last time we had such an amazing conversation. And I know that today is just going to be as good. So, Charlene, I have invited you today in this episode because I really believe that female entrepreneurs can become even more successful in their business if they find their inner voice. And I know that this is what you do. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, and it's such an amazing question because if I were to be really vulnerable about my own journey, I will admit that I believed, as well as I think a lot of other female entrepreneurs believe, that there is only one way to be successful.
Yeah.
And when I look out into the world, Google different articles, different entrepreneurs, what I really read and hear is a very masculine way of doing things.
Oh yeah.
And that reads like this: work really hard, sleep less, grind more, hustle, sacrifice, spend less time having fun, spend less time seeing your loved ones and your family. And I will admit that I believed this for many years. And so that's exactly what I did. I would stay up till 5 a.m. doing Instagram content. I barely saw friends. I just would work myself silly. And I was miserable. I was utterly miserable because this is not me. And I didn't realize that there is a way, especially for female entrepreneurs, to do things differently and powerfully at the same time.
Yeah.
So for me, I have had lots of different coaches, like business coaches and things like that. And each coach has their own flavor. Each coach has their own take on success. Excuse me. And I really had to kind of sift through all of the coaching that I received and come home to me. And what that means for me personally, and I'm sure this will resonate for a lot of other female entrepreneurs out there, is that I am a very feminine woman. I am soft, I am sensitive, I bloom when I am vulnerable. I I like things at a slower pace
Yeah.
rather than work, 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 work.
Oh yeah.
I don't enjoy working so-called quote unquote hard. I don't enjoy that. I enjoy doing things that inspire me, that lift me up. I enjoy getting 8+ hours of sleep per night. I
Yeah.
enjoy being rested.
Yeah.
And that especially actually about being rested. When I am rested, I feel, I'm trying to describe the feeling.
Just amazing.
Oh, mate, like I sing to my alarm clock when it goes off, when I'm rested,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's how great I feel, like first thing in the morning, just singing in bed. And I just think that if we as female entrepreneurs try and do things in a masculine way,
Mm.
then we're not going to have nearly as much fun. And we're going to introduce dis-ease in our lives, which show
Mm.
up in our bodies. They show up in our menstrual cycles.
Yeah.
We wonder why our periods are heavy. We wonder why we have such PMS, because we're out of balance. We haven't
Right.
found our voice. We haven't found our way of doing things.
Mm.
And what I discovered actually is that I had to become really open to receiving help. I had this thing ever since I was a child where I prided myself on doing things alone. I
Oh
prided
yeah.
myself on
Mm.
not needing help,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I carried that into my adult years.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just didn't want to receive help. I didn't want anyone to think that I was not competent or
Strong
capable.
enough. Yeah. Yeah. Not
Yeah, like
capable. Yeah. Yeah.
I associated
Yeah.
not needing any help with
Mm.
strength. When the actual opposite is the truth. The truth is that you are at your most strong when you are able to say, look, I need help with this.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
even yesterday, and now this is how my energy is changing, right?
Mm.
Yesterday I bought some groceries, and there were maybe 4 full bags with, these crates of water that I buy, like these full bottles of water.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be lovely if my neighbor offered to help me? And 2 seconds later, he said to me, he was outside of his house, he said to me, do you want some help? And I said, that would be amazing. And he brought in the crates of water for me. Now, before, I would have felt empowered doing everything by myself.
Yeah.
And, the truth is, the feminine essence in all of us women, it is a master in receiving help, so that we don't get stressed out, so that
Yeah.
we don't have to do all of this effort to the
Mm.
point where we're tired, we have no libido,
Mm.
our periods are out of whack, our hormones are out of whack. And
Mm.
not only that, feminine beings, we really love to collaborate.
Yeah.
And we really love to feel relaxed. When we are relaxed, we are at our most potent, I think. We
Yeah.
are at our most sexy, sensual. There's something about just being relaxed and going with the
Absolutely.
flow. There's something about that.
Yeah.
And so in all of the coaching and all of the articles and all of the noise out there that tells you how to be an entrepreneur, my best advice would be to find yourself within
Mm.
that. What feels good to you? And I
Yeah.
promise you, when you find what feels good to you, you will be a success at it.
I love that. Yeah. Amen to that, sister. I love that. This is the vibe that I want to go for. And yeah, this is like one of the main reason why I created this podcast and the Queen Boss brand around that is that, that all the things that you have mentioned, I feel like you're talking about myself too, because I went there, for years. I was working in corporate environments and I was in a very technical. I actually was working for technical services, and as a manager, being surrounded by men and trying so hard to, do things like they do. And I keep saying that from time to time because I think it's important to mention is that last year I went through a really hard patch and I've hit a really severe depression, and that came from feeling burnt out because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was just trying to be a man basically, even though as a woman I was trying to handle my life as a man, and that resulted to that. And that's the entire journey that I've been through since last year, is just to realize that as a woman, you don't have to be a man to succeed. And I feel that it's so powerful, and that's just what you said earlier, and we definitely agree on that. And that is something that I wish more women just would know about that. And that's what I'm just trying to not shut up, because this is the message behind it. And so I know you're working with essentially artists and things like that, but you're also an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, we were talking about finding your voice and things like that. And obviously in this podcast, I mean, most of the people listening are women working in the e-commerce industries. So obviously these are like really different industries, but from your journey as a businesswoman, just tell us a little bit how finding our voice truly can help us become more successful.
The beautiful thing about finding your voice is that it doesn't really matter what industry you are in.
Yeah.
Because once you find your feminine essence, which is being in flow. And the thing is, one thing that you mentioned about you were in a corporate environment and you were trying to be like the men in your environment, and you were surrounded by men.
Yeah.
What you'll find when you're in a very male-dominated industry, what you will find is that men love to compete.
Yeah.
They love they love to exert dominance over each other. You'll find it even in their humor, right?
Yeah.
And they love to show that they are successful.
Yeah.
Now, these are beautiful things about men. And this is how men operate. And, you know, I would never look at that with any kind of judgment, because it is beautiful.
Sure,
and you
absolutely.
Just look at how men operate with each other. However, when women adopt these masculine traits, what you will find is that they will want to compete too. And they'll want to show their success too.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll want to exert dominance too.
Mm-hmm.
But you will find that it really takes a toll on females' bodies in a way that it does not take a toll on men's bodies.
Yes, true. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you will find that men don't get stressed out about things that we get stressed out about.
True.
And so it's really, really important to just have a look at how you're operating and what effect does that have on your body. Does that actually feel good to you, or do you feel like you have to be this certain way? Now, I have a mentor. She teaches everything about feminine essence, and before she went into business for herself, she also was in a corporate environment dominated by men. But because she was really centered in who she is as a feminine being, and she's very soft and she's very sensitive too, just like I am, she found that the men around her wanted to be soft with her. They treated her tenderly, with gentleness, and they rallied around to give her the support that she needed, even though she was doing the same job as them.
Wow,
and
that's nice.
Oh man, and I have found because the music industry is also very masculine dominated, right?
Yeah.
I find that when I am in my feminine seat, the men around me, they defer to me. They want me to go through the door first. They want to help me with my bags. They just want to support me.
Yeah.
And what you will find is that men love to support women.
Yeah.
When you look at what men are really motivated by and driven by, they are driven by their desire to please us.
Yeah.
And I remember when that kind of sunk into me. I was like, whoa, so men are not against us. They're not here to compete with us. They're actually here to serve us. They love us.
True.
And they love when we are open enough to allow them to support us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Purpose, and it gives them drive, and it gives them motivation.
True.
So I'm saying that to women who are in male-dominated industries, just try softening. Try being in your feminine essence. and watch and see how the people around you change and shift. I had a dream just this week actually, and in the dream I was surrounded by men.
Mm.
And this is the first time I'm talking about this in this context.
Ooh, okay.
In the dream, I was surrounded by men, and they weren't really paying me any attention. I was kind of left to my own devices, and I didn't like it. I
Mm.
remember not liking it. I remember feeling like, what's going on here? It didn't feel right in the context of the dream. I was like, this isn't supposed to be happening this way. And I remember in the dream, I said to myself, I am the sun. Everything revolves around me. I kid you not. I said
Wow.
this to myself in the dream, and everything shifted. All of the people around me just started paying more attention to me. They were helping me with things, and I, I woke up, and I don't think I'm ever going to forget this dream because it was so poignant and so powerful.
Yeah.
Because this is the magnetism of a woman. The
Yeah.
magnetism of a woman is that we are the sun. Everything revolves around us. You
Mm.
would
Mm.
believe that it's the
Mm.
opposite
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
read the articles and when you listen to the YouTube stuff and you listen to some podcasts out there that
Yeah.
we have to be this certain way, and it's not the truth.
Mm.
When we embody who we really are, because there are many women out there who are killing it in corporate environments by being in their masculine essence,
True. Yeah.
and they're not happy. They're not happy.
Mm.
And their relationships are suffering and their bodies are suffering. And man, underneath all of that, when you chip away at the surface, you will find someone who's actually very sensitive,
Yeah.
someone who likes to be treated tenderly, someone who would breathe a sigh of relief to just be seen for who they really are. So your voice is who you really are. So finding your voice is having the courage to be who you already are. There is no more work necessary to be done
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah.
You already are this person. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm seeing the difference in my life. Like even yesterday with the groceries, from small things to the large things. It will create opportunities for you. People, like I was at a gig the other day, and one of the male members of the entourage said to me, "Are you always this calm?" And I said, "No, I've had to practice. I've had to practice
Wow.
letting go. I've had to practice surrendering. I've had to practice dropping these stories that were in my mind about who I thought I should be." And
Mm.
he said, "Your aura is beautiful." And I said, "Thank you." And I owned it. And it's wonderful being yourself. It's so wonderful. You get to
Oh, yeah.
relax,
Yeah.
and you get to make a living being who you already are. How fabulous
Absolutely.
is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, just even the idea of that, it makes me emotional. That we don't have
Oh,
to be anybody else but who we are.
yeah, true.
That is the beautiful gift that we get to give ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like we are very unique in our own. Obviously, it's not about trying to feel that we are better or less than anybody else. It's not about competing. It's just about owning the fact that we are different and just honoring that, and you've mentioned something about surrendering and things like that, and I understand how it's a journey to get there. So could you tell us, give us some tips on how you overcame, I mean, your journey of learning to surrendering? Because I would say this is very difficult to do, especially when you have like so many things to handle in your life. You also have to handle yourself. If you're a mother, you have so much in your plate already. Then you have the business side. So tell us a little bit, how do you surrender exactly, and what difference do you see in your life when that happens?
Well, the difference that I've seen in my life is that I'm a lot more forgiving.
Mm.
I used to blame myself when things went wrong, even if I wasn't at fault.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And blaming myself made me hold on to things.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Now, the way that I surrender is it's a practice.
Mm.
And I do this meditation by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh, tell us. I love meditations.
Yeah, and it accompanies the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
you'll notice that everyone has like a program running. So, for example, if there's traffic, every time that there is traffic, you might respond with anger or frustration. There's a
Yeah,
program running,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're not even really conscious of it.
True. Yeah.
So, what this meditation does, it's not one of those meditations where you kind of sit in silence. It actually helps you to practice surrender.
Mm.
It actually helps you to let go. So, there was many years that I was going through financial hardship. And my response to the bank calling me and saying, "Oh, you're over your overdraft limit,"
Mm.
was panic, was fear, was guilt, was self-blame.
Sure. Yeah.
What the meditation helped me to do was to have a different response to that thing. Now, you might say, well, it's perfectly normal to have that response.
Yeah.
Of
True.
course it is,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Of
right?
course.
But it's
Yeah.
not necessarily the case. You can practice being grateful that you even have a bank account when you get that notification. You
True.
can practice letting it go, saying, "Universe, I trust you. I give everything up to you to inspire me to make this change in my life." And when you change and when you are absolutely surrendered, that's when you get inspired as to how to make that difference in your life. And
Yeah. Okay.
I just that act of letting things go, just having something in your fist, like, and I encourage listeners who are listening, who can just like make a fist and make it tight, really, really tight, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now just let it go. That is what surrender feels like. You drop the stories, you drop the things that are bothering you,
Mm.
you just surrender. But you surrender from a place of trust. You surrender from a place of, you know, that God, universe, source, spirit has got your back. And
Mm.
that
Yeah.
everything that is happening in your life is happening for you, not to you. You
Yeah.
are not the villain of your story, and you are not the victim of your story either.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, that practice of surrender will impact your motherhood. It
Mm.
will impact your relationship with your spouse. It just
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
You'll, you'll learn to pick your battles and
True.
not take on absolutely everything. And I think that as women, we've got such wide arms that we do take on everything.
Oh
And
yeah.
this is one of the reasons why everything becomes so stressful. And surrender helps you to just let things go. It helps you to choose what's important rather than being reactive to everything.
Yeah. I love that. And just to make it clear, could you, because maybe some women would because when you're not used to hearing this, it feels like, okay, you're telling me to basically give up. What is the difference
Ah,
between giving up and surrendering?
giving up, it comes from a place of, I am a failure.
Mm, yeah. Okay.
It
Yeah.
comes from a place
Obviously.
of self-blame. It
Yeah.
comes from a place of self-judgment.
Mm,
Surrender is completely the opposite. Surrender means that you trust that you are in flow.
yeah.
Surrender means that there is something bigger than me that is going to help me to do this thing, to accomplish this thing, to succeed at this thing.
Yeah.
And I am willing to relinquish being the only person doing this thing. I am willing to be the co-creator and not just the creator. It's not all on me.
Yeah.
It's not all on my shoulders. I get to receive help.
Yeah.
That is the difference.
Yeah, I love that you said the word co-creator. And I feel like it's also the difference between giving up and not doing anything, and doing something but being the co-creator, meaning that you're doing something but you're just doing your part basically, and you let God to doing the rest, right? So I love that. I definitely love that. And yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share in your practice to reach that level of pure surrender?
Well, I just want to add something, because if I was listening to this podcast a year ago and I heard somebody say, do your best and let God do the rest, I would have probably switched off. Because at that point, I was so scared and so deep in my story of no one helps me and I have to do everything on my own. And if I'm not masculine and if I don't work hard, then it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
That I would not have been able to receive this message. But I just want to share something with you listeners out there so that you really understand where I am coming from. I was having such problems in my entrepreneurship. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like I had this amazing company that wasn't getting any clients. I wasn't making any money. And I became depressed to the point of having suicidal thoughts. And I used to think to myself, well, if God's not going to help me and I can't help myself, what is the point in being here?
Yeah.
And I used to feel like, well, I'm just better off not being here. And I actually decided how I was going to take my life until I was confronted with this belief that, not this belief, I was confronted with the idea, should I say, that what I was thinking was not the truth. Right? And it sounds so crazy because while I was in it, it felt true.
Yeah.
But I received coaching that helped me to realize that this is not the truth. God is helping me, and I am not a failure, and things will work out. And I literally, with my coach, with the meditations that I told you guys about, the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and I recommend you read the book first before you do the meditation. Between those two things, I was able to save my life.
Wow.
And I am not depressed anymore. I feel so good about who I am because I have practiced seeing the truth about who I am.
Yeah.
The truth is that I am a powerhouse, intuitive, sensitive, soft goddess who is divine. That is the truth about me.
I love that.
And that is also the truth about you. And I had to, because whatever we practice, we get good at. So if you practice, I'm a failure, I have to do it this way, it's not working, then it becomes a story in your mind that is so powerful and so big that you believe it to be true. I'm challenging the women out there to practice a different story, which is actually the truth. You are powerful, you are able, you get to be open, you get to be supported, you are not on your own. It's going to work out. And I want you to understand that I am not speaking from the place of having millions in my bank and now I get to tell everybody how easy it is. It's not the truth at all. I'm coming from a place where I was depressed. I was about to not be here, and I am here because of the decisions that I made. And I want people out there to really understand that, because, and I think a lot of the time, entrepreneurs, they write content and they create content from a place of everything's fine now, and I'm going to tell you how to do it too.
Yeah.
You're going to get the realness from me. You're going to get the real stuff from me. So that is my experience, and I really hope that resonates with someone out there.
Yeah, totally. That resonated with me because I do remember those really hard times. I didn't go as far as planning everything, right? But I do remember clearly having the idea, and I was battling with my own devils, right? So a lot of things coming up, because when you are like in a really low moment of your life where you don't feel right, so obviously everything gets amplified in the most negative ways, and all your life struggles they come up at that time, and you're just reliving the past, and this is where you are actually. And that this is true. We say that, when you're feeling depressed, you're living in the past, and when you're feeling anxious, you're living in the future, and if you're feeling in peace, you're living in the present. And this is exactly what happened, and so I got shocked that I, who's someone with so much passion and fire within me, that I found myself in thinking this way, right? And so that, I think, was the electroshock for me, where I was like, you know what, you need to do something about it, because this is not you, right? And so I totally understand that, when you're like in this constant circle of depression and coming up out of it and coming back and getting back into it, there's like that is literally is something that I've realized in the past few days, is that you get comfortable when it has been your baseline in your life for a while. This is your comfort zone, and this is why you keep going back into it, because this is what you know of, right? And so when everything starts to get better, you're outside of your comfort zone, and so one way or another you're going to be sabotaging yourself and getting back into the low moment, the depression, the financial hardship, and you're going to be doing this to yourself, like whether you know it or not, like it's subconscious, right? It's your baseline. And so once you understand this, you understand that it doesn't have to be this way. You choose what is your comfort zone. And so it's a work in progress. It's a ramp up. It's going to take time. But once you understand that, you decide, I don't want my comfort zone to be this. I don't want my baseline in my life to be this. And so you're going to be like starting to do the work on, what do I want? What is the minimum for me in my life? And so you are going to work towards it. And so obviously it's going to take time. And when you ramp up and you feel better, you will still have this thought of, oh no, this is not me. I'm not used to that. I'm scared. What if it doesn't happen? What if it doesn't work this way? It's just going to, make me more tired. That's going to hurt me, whatever, right? And it's like, even if you want everything again to become better, as long as you haven't, decided to stick with your own standards, the baseline standards, then you will get back into it, unless you don't want it to be this way, right? And so recently, like especially this week, I'm really talking about this as someone who's recently went through this. I've started to, have my schedule in a different way, and like I'm in a journey of really improving my entire life, because I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with my own
Yeah.
bullshit. I can't stand it anymore. But I
Mm.
still feel sometimes where I'm pushing myself back into it, and this is the right now. You have to snap out of it, stop this bullshit, and
Yes.
go towards what makes you happy, because there are people who aren't in this world anymore, and who would give everything if they could to come back, right?
Yeah.
Your life isn't over yet. You have something to do in this world. And so I feel like my journey that I'm going through right now has changed my way of thinking. And so I've met so many people who are like into this circle of going back to depression from time to time.
Right.
And so I just want to share this, is that truly, like, if you are in this situation because you wanted, whether you know it or not, right? And it's about calling the bullshit on people, right? Is like, face your own reality. If you stay, it's okay, and we all go through hard times, right? But if you stay in this situation, is because whether you know it or not, you want it, because it's your comfort zone. And so you decide what is your comfort zone. It's a work in progress, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I just would say to anyone out there who is struggling with depression, struggling with having suicidal thoughts, what I would say to you is your mind is running on a
Yeah,
program of negativity and fear
true.
from the past, and you've brought that into your present reality. The way that you tell yourself a different story about who you are is by practicing something else. And
Yeah,
it has to be a deliberate decision. There was a time I
absolutely.
was doing these meditations twice a day. And because I was so determined to make that change in my life, I got to a point. So from believing those stories and lies about myself so long, I got to a point where I was like, I was aware that it was a lie that I was believing, but I didn't know how to break out of it.
Mm.
And then I got to a point where I was just like, no, I just choose not to believe that. And I choose to believe this, because the
Yeah.
mind likes to have something to replace the belief that you are getting rid of.
Mm.
And one of the things that the meditation does is it helps you by practicing during the meditation, saying the word change
Yeah.
out loud. So and I even do it now, you know, if I'm having, so the meditation gets you to dedicate the meditation to what you would like to surrender.
Mm. Yeah.
And so throughout the day, if you find yourself being fixated on these things that you've tried to surrender, you say the word change out loud. And this is while you are driving. This is while you're washing the dishes. This is whenever you're doing whatever, you say the word change.
Yeah.
It arrests your thought process on the spot, and it stops you from sinking down into a negative thought spiral.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
you say it 50 times a day if you have to, just to help you remember who you really are.
Mm.
And when I say the word change, I feel like a sense of relief, because I was so caught up in this thought as if it was the true story. And then I say change, and I'm like, oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm out of breath because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, thank God it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would encourage you out there to do the same. That this book and the coaching that I received changed my life. And what
Amazing.
coaching does, it helps you to see your blind spots,
Yeah.
spots that you are not able to see for yourself.
Absolutely.
Um, and it helps you to be held in a really loving environment. So that's what I would say to anyone out there.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. And here is the last question that I ask to every one of my guests. What do you, Charlene, want to be remembered for?
I remember the last time you asked me this, and I started to get quite emotional about it. And I would love to be remembered for how big my heart is. I care deeply for people, and my journey has been getting away from having a tough exterior, trying to show
Mm,
everybody that I'm worthy, trying
yeah.
to show everybody that I can do it and I can have it and I can
Mm,
be it all,
mm.
to just being the soft, vulnerable person that I really am and showing people that I really do care. That's what I want to be remembered for. The
That's
real me,
beautiful.
not the stuff that I tried to project.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all at some point um, want to fill up the expectations around ourselves that we think people are expecting from us. And so it leads us to be someone we're not.
Mm.
And as you said, like the most powerful thing you can do in this environment or in this world or today is just be yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. Can I share my social media links?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, the handle is at my vocal therapy. And I'm also on Facebook under my vocal therapy. It's vocal.
Awesome. Charlene, thank you so much for your time and for doing this again.
No worries.
It's been a pleasure to have you here. We had such a beautiful conversation. And for the one hearing us here today, come on over to my Facebook group, the E-commerce Queen Boss Society, and let me know, and the rest of the community, what you thought about this episode. And if there's anything that you heard today that really triggered you, it's ask yourself why, and come up in the group. Please share with us, introduce yourself, don't be shy, and you can even promote your own business in there. So, and also, if you absolutely know, because we've been talking about deep stuff in here, if you know someone who's struggling with depression, please share the link with them, or just share the link, because usually, and coming from someone who's been there, um, I never let anyone know that I was in depression when I was there. And so that's usually what's happening, is that people around you are depressed, but they're not saying it. So just please share this episode, because it truly can save someone's life. Thank you so much for listening today. And until the next time, have a beautiful day.